Hello and welcome to City Slickers, the magazine show dedicated to the fortunes of Lincoln City. I'm here at the Shed pub overlooking Brayford Pool and I'm joined by the Echo's Lincoln City writer Leigh Curtis. Over the next few minutes we'll be looking back on the last 7 days at Sincil Bank. We'll also preview the Imps trip to Rotherham on Saturday, as well as hearing from Imps boss Peter Jackson and young defender Danny Hone. OK, first this week we're going to talk about Leif Recklington. He's injured at the moment, but he's in talks over extending his contract at Sincil Bank. How are those negotiations going, Leigh?
I think they're going pretty well at the minute. As I understand it, the talks are at an advanced stage. I think there's only a few little minor details to iron out, and by all accounts I think Leigh's quite happy to stay.
And he's got a contract till 2009 anyway, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, but he had a clause in his contract which stated this season that once he played 30 games he was entitled to negotiate a new contract. Very good forward thinking by the board, that, because obviously Leigh's a very, very good player, and hopefully this time around they'll get him on a similar long-term deal and keep him at Lincoln for a few more years.
And obviously a few clubs are circling around, aren't they?
Yeah, there's been a few. I mean, but I think Leigh's always stated that he's quite happy at Lincoln. He said he'd only really ever leave if a Championship club or a big status club such as Leeds came in for him. So he's a homegrown talent. I think Lincoln have always said they're very keen to keep the best players, and Leigh's one of those players who's quite happy to stay. Now
moving on, the Imps made it 5 wins in a row against Macclesfield last weekend. Surely Peter Jackson's got to be manager of the month.
You'd think he would be a shoe-in, wouldn't you? Really, it's. I mean, even if they don't win at Rotherham tomorrow, I think what he's done in the past month has been absolutely nothing short of remarkable, really. 5 straight wins, great run of results, and some very impressive performances along the way. And it'd be great for him, after what a difficult week he's had previous. I think to win the manager of the month would be absolutely fantastic for him and the city.
And it kind of summed up the way the Imps have been going recently, the way they came back from a poor performance in the first half against Macclesfield to play very well in the second.
Yeah, speaking to the players, apparently the half-time talk last Saturday was quite entertaining. Apparently Peter Jackson threatened to scrap the golf day if they didn't improve in the second half, and it obviously worked a treat because they were superb in the second half. I thought Lennell John Lewis was absolutely fantastic, really showed what a quality player he is. Danny Hone again coming off the bench, what an exciting prospect he looks as well, and it was a great win.
Now, we caught up with Peter Jackson earlier this week. Here's what he had to say.
To go on this run and at a difficult time that obviously I'm going through and probably the players are as well, is exceptional, and I can't speak really highly enough of my players, of what they've achieved over the last, since I've been manager, to turn it round to be where we are now. Once again, Lincoln has been talked about as a football club again, and that's what's pleased me most, is that people are starting to stand up and take notice of this little club called Lincoln, and we're certainly heading in the right direction. I think we're playing Rotherham at a good time in terms of the turmoil that they're in at the moment. It's a good time to play them. I'm looking forward to it. As I say, I'm expecting a little bit of stick from the Rotherham fans as usual. That long walk from the corner to that little dugout where I sit is not very pleasant, but looking forward to it, really looking forward to it. 2 good footballing sides, but once again, Rotherham players, Rotherham fans, Rotherham directors, chairman won't be looking forward to Lincoln in town, so and that's enhanced by obviously the players, what they've done over the last couple of months. Who knows what can happen? What we're 10 points off the playoff places. We could be 7 on Saturday, and if the players do it and turn it around, it could be one of the most successful turnarounds in football history. I think to be bottom at Christmas and to be on the verge of the playoffs towards the end of the season would be some achievement.
Now, Jackson mentioned the P word there. He thinks the playoffs are on. Do you?
I think you've got to believe, haven't you? I think they're 10 points. The 10 points off the top 7. I think anything's achievable in this league. If they win tomorrow against Rotherham, that's another results go their way. They're only 7 points off. And with the role that Lincoln are on at the minute, why not? Why not believe? The manager believes it. So yes, well, I think it's on.
Now, moving on, if you've got today's paper, you can read an interview with Danny Hone. Now, Leigh, you spoke to him this week. He had some interesting things to say, didn't he?
Yeah, probably the first time in about six or 7 times that I've interviewed him. He was fantastic yesterday. Came up with some very interesting things. How about he came up against Karim Benzema, the forward at Lyon, who's obviously one of Europe's hottest talents after his display against Manchester United on Wednesday. And those two actually played against each other in France, and it's very interesting to listen to what Danny had to say about him. And I asked him whether he regretted leaving France, because obviously seeing what Benzema's achieved, could he have done the same thing in France? But he says he has no regrets coming to England. He loves playing for Lincoln. He's very settled here, and but obviously he harbours one day a dream of playing in the Champions League.
How was his English?
Well, he refused to do a video interview, but because he said he didn't feel entirely comfortable, which I have no problem with that. But so I took him sort of like down near the boardroom and had a very good conversation. His English is a lot more fluid than a lot of people realise, I think.
Yeah. Another person who's going to have an important role to play at Rotherham on Saturday is Danny Hone, and we caught up with the young Imps defender earlier this week.
It's really tough going on mentally and physically when you're playing so many games in such a short space. And it is good to just chill out and take a break from football and have a couple of days off to refresh yourself and come back fighting again.
Obviously, Rotherham at the weekend, I mean, I suppose this game tomorrow will be a perfect yardstick of how far you've come in the last 4 or 5 weeks, because obviously it's been very good, isn't it?
Yeah, we've shown a lot of character recently with the results that we've shown. Sometimes it's only been by a goal, sometimes it's been by 2, but that says a lot about the lads that we've got here, and they're great players. And the run that we've been on just shows how much effort everyone within the football club's been putting in, and it will show how far we've come recently, but they're on a bad run, so hopefully we've hit them at the right time and can rectify that 3-1 loss that we had here. Yeah, I mean, if we have a bright start and the fans will get on their back, and hopefully with the determination and fitness we've got, and hopefully we can pinch a goal and keep hold of that goal and take the win again. We're expecting a big physical battle as well as a footballing battle, so we need to be on our game and be nice and sharp, ready for them.
That was Danny Hone there. Lee's going to have an important job to play at Rotherham on Saturday, keeping tabs on Derek Holmes.
Yeah, that's going to be a fascinating battle, because obviously Danny didn't play against Rotherham in the first time they played in January. I don't think it was any secret that Derek Holmes scored probably the easiest hat-trick of his career that afternoon. You know, Lincoln's defending was pretty woeful. But on the other hand, they played very well. You know, apart from the defending, you know, going forward, they created a lot of chances, and the difference that day, I mean, if Lincoln could have been out of sight really in the first 15 minutes.
Now, we were quite impressed with Rotherham that day, but the fortunes of the two sides have gone in opposite directions since, haven't they?
Yeah, Rotherham have slipped. There's a few financial problems there at Millmore, and I'm just wondering how much of an effect that will have, because I think you only have to look at teams like Luton and other teams that are having financial problems. It does have an effect, because the players, obviously, they read the newspapers, they read the teletext, listen to the radio, and it can't be nice switching on the telly and finding out that your club's really in debt and is not really sure about its future really. So I reckon the Rotherham players will be keeping a keen interest in what's going on behind the scenes there, and I just wonder if their focus may just be taken off what's going on the pitch.
Now, Mark Robbins has told them to put that to one side, but that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Easier said than done, because obviously when administration's lurking, obviously players need paying, and if they're not sure where the next paycheck's going to come from, it's going to be an uncertain time for them. If you look at Chester, they've had some financial problems as well, and they've really slipped out of contention for promotion, and they're on a catastrophic run at the minute. So I think it definitely does have an effect, and I suppose the manager is keen for his players to concentrate on football, but like I say, it's easier said than done.
Now, before we go, Lee, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your prediction for the Rotherham game?
I'd like to see Lincoln get a 6 win, but I think they'll get a draw tomorrow. I think a draw will be a great result.
What, 0-0, 1-1?
1-1.
1-1. OK, thanks for joining us this week. I'd just like to remind you, if you can't get to Rotherham on Saturday, you can join me for the Big Match Live, which you can access on sportsecho.co.uk. I'll be online from about 2:30.
And don't forget, you can read all the analysis from Saturday's game in Monday's newspaper, price 36p. And later on Monday afternoon, I'll be in the Siren FM studios with Mark Whiley, where we'll be reviewing all the action from the weekend.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.